Hi guys, we're back with another episode of Two Little Black Girls podcast.
Episode 47.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened before, I'm Alicia.
I'm Kristen.
Yeah, and in the description bar below, make sure you hit subscribe first, but in the description bar below, you'll find links to our Twitter and Instagram and our blogs. You can catch up with us daily-ish there and read and see pictures of everything we talk about. Or most things that we talk about.
Yes. So, this episode, we are very slightly reforming the podcast. If you guys have been listening before, you know that we usually had 3 sections: a things we bought section, a places we went section, and then at the end we just talked about like different social issues or pop culture issues that were like on our mind. But from this point forward, if you want to see things that we bought and reviews of them, you go straight to our blog, twolittleblackgirls.wordpress.com, where we'll be doing posts about our new purchases and things some style stuff.
Just more like vivid imagery instead of us describing it to you, even though we are pretty good with words. Pictures and stuff are a little bit better to go along with the words. So. Yeah,
and then you could physically see the itens, you could see how it fits us and how we style them. And we think that you guys will be much more interested in that.
Yeah, plus it'll be easier for us to link to those items that we bought too, so you can easily find them online.
Right. We will still be talking about the different bars or places and events that we've been to during the week. But we're not going to do like full reviews because we also do full reviews of them on our blog. But we're just going to talk about different things that happen when we go out. And, we're going to make it more conversational.
Yeah, experimentation. Yeah, so that's what you can expect from this podcast and all the podcasts in the future. And, it should be fun.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
So, to start things off, we're going to talk about...
Sorry.
We're going to talk about where we went last night. So last night we went to a bar in the Bowery called Hillandale. It's a really cute, chill, dimly lit bar, which is very typical for Bowery, but they had really, really amazing food and pretty good drinks, and it just had a really cool, chill vibe.
It was like very relaxing. They had, what do you call those? Those old-timey speakers. That was like their thing. Yeah. That's like their like sort of monogram. Yeah. Those records, and they look like funnel speakers.
Yeah, like the old school like 1920s speakerphones.
Thing. Yeah, but that's like their shtick. A part of it is like built into the decor, and I think it's like part of their symbol for the
door.
Restaurant door.
Yeah, so it was really cool. And it was for a birthday party of a friend of mine. So
many people turning 26.
So many people turning 26, yeah. But it was one of those, like, parties where you kind of only know the birthday girl and maybe one other person. And then you're kind of, like, put in this position to, like, mingle with
other people.
Which
is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, no, but it's
that's
like...
how you meet people.
That is how you meet people.
Friends of friends of friends. Just so happened this party was, like, full of... it was full of mainly girls, and the only guys that were there were already attached to the girls that were already there.
Right.
But, I mean, you're still in a bar. You never know who you could run into there.
Right. And, that's kind of something that we talked about with one of the girls that was at the party that we met. You know, this idea of who approaches who in a bar. And what is everyone's comfort level with that as a girl. Because I feel like as a girl, when you're, like, raised or what society dictates is that, you know, the guy has to come to you.
Yeah, be the man, make the move, and then the girl will decide whether to accept or reject.
Right, exactly.
As opposed to girls, you know, making a move themselves either strongly or suggestively.
Right. And, you know, I am definitely one of those girls that prefers the guy take initiative. But the reason why is because I have my own, like, anxiety and reservations about, like, men. Like, I feel like, if I approach him, how do I know if he's really interested? Maybe he's just saying yes to me because,
you're a female.
I'm a female, and I presented him with an opportunity. He's like, why not?
Yeah.
But you feel in your mind that if a guy approaches you, that must mean he's really interested and invested in some way.
That is also a case.
Yeah.
But there's also the case you can't read a man's mind, so he could have just been, like, targeting someone that he thought was, like, somewhat interesting for the night.
Right.
Not for, like, long term. It's
right.
It's hard. It could go either way.
Right.
And it's also, like, a thing. I am also somewhat of the mind that, you know, when I'm out and about with friends, also the girl that we were talking to made a good point. Like, depending, like, the party that we were in, it was, like, about 10 or 12 people. And she was like, in that case, she wouldn't expect a guy that she was interested in to come and approach her just because of the amount of people and the type of environment that she was surrounded by. Like, the people, like, there's a lot of barriers to, like, wanting to go and make a move.
Right.
But if you're, like, with one other friend or two other girlfriends and it's very light, then she would expect them to come over. And that in that situation, she would be less inclined to go up to the bar to whoever and be like, "Hi, what's your name?" or whatever.
Right, exactly. Because they're with a big group, and if you do approach them, either the whole group's attention is going to be on you, or that person may not be in, like, the mood to be approached. They may just be, there for that party or whatever. Yeah. So it's, like, definitely one of those situations.
Yeah, some of those things. But I agree. I feel like I am of the mind that I definitely prefer 10 times out of 10. I'd prefer a guy to come up to me.
To you. Yeah.
But I don't know.
But then I also feel like the type of guys that I like are the type of guys that
9 times out of 10 won't.
Yeah, exactly. 9 times out of 10 are not going to be the guys that are going to approach you in the bar or take the initiative. But then it's like, maybe it has to do with where I hang out. Because I feel like where I usually hang out is not where the guys that I like usually are.
That's true.
I feel like we spend a lot of time in a lot of, like, downtown bars and lounges. And it's like, the guys that I like aren't there.
You gotta go to those bars with the games in them.
You gotta go to the bars with the games, or you gotta go to one of those bars where people are there to, like, drink beer and chat. People aren't there to, like, pregame or dance or,
whatever. Goes on.
Yeah. Because I feel like the guys I date are usually at, like, bars where it's, like, drinking, or you're watching, like, a game, or there's video games, or
something, some other element, as opposed to, like, I'm here to dance and
mingle and dress up.
It has to be casual.
Yeah, it has to be casual. Yeah,
for the type that we're both sort of have a similar interest in. Yeah. If the type that you like is, like, the guy in the suit, he'll probably be at those lounges.
Right. So, yeah, because those are the type of guys, a lot of, like, finance guys. But then, like, the guys at our party, well, I guess because they were there for the party, were really chill and down to earth and kind of, like, not nerdy or awkward, but just, like, nice guys. But I don't know if they would just be there on their own.
That spot?
Yeah.
No, they would be at a sports bar too, but they'd be there with their friends as well, just chilling.
Yeah, but maybe not chilling looking for girls. I don't know.
It's maybe really hard.
I don't really know men.
The point is, like, I don't know where to find them. But, when you are in situations where it's just, like, a group versus two, that's when you can have a better chance to assess. Yeah. But then there's also the thing about that is that there's so many other factors in play that can affect not just how many people you're with, but, like, the types of people you're around. If it's just two of you, like, is it you and two guys? Is it you and two girls? Right. Or how you guys dress? Is one wearing a dress? Is the other two wearing pants? Right. Like, there's so many different variables. And also, like, ethnicity plays a part in it, too. Right. That's another variable. Like, what someone might have a type, and you might not be their type. Right. Or there's so many different things.
But, okay, this is the thing about perception, because I've had a lot of people not just guys, but just people in general, like people at work or wherever, people that don't know me, say as well as like you or like Amber knows me, like how they perceive me is not necessarily how I perceive myself. Like,
but this is like after how many encounters? One encounter?
Like people that I work with every single day, or people that I've, you know, talked to for like a couple months.
Okay.
Like people see me as very calm, which I don't, like I'm not like crazy or excitable, but I don't know if I would
classify you as calm.
I'm like definitely outwardly calm, but I am very anxious. So maybe I am calm, but like in my mind, there's just so much, my thoughts are always like going,
Yeah.
and I'm anxious. So when someone says calm, I'm like, I don't know if I'm calm, but maybe I am.
You are
in some ways.
in the ways that you present outwardly.
Yeah.
But internally, you can be very anxious and not show it to some people. Because I think I'm always thinking about lots of different things, but I don't always show it.
Right.
Most of the time, I don't show it at all.
Right.
Unless I'm like at that point.
Right.
Where there's no concealing.
Right. And another thing, I feel like people perceive me as way more like prim and proper than I feel that I am. Because I'm definitely a little prim. Definitely. That's like, prim. You know, like definitely like very like, not girly, but you know, into some girly things. And maybe I'm not talkative and I'm not very verbose, or like, I don't tend to be vulgar with people who I'm like I don't know really well. Mm-hmm. So then, like, if we're discussing something at, like, work, for example, something that's a little bit more controversial, like, okay, so at work we were talking about stripping. Like, I will say how it came into play, but we were talking about stripping, and I was like, oh, yeah, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it, you know, it's a way for, you know, women to be financially self-sufficient.
Oh, just women strippers? Not male?
Yeah, because it was in relation to a specific person who some people at work once knew, who was, you know, getting her social work degree, but then was also stripping on the side. Okay. And someone, you know, was of the opinion that, you know, you're about to be a social worker, you're in grad school, and you're stripping. Like, I don't think that's something. I see you as better than that, and blah blah blah. And granted, this person, like, yeah, she was in school, and then she was also like writing articles about, you know, feminism and stripping, and you know, body image and stripping. So she was like also coming at it from like an academic perspective, but then she was also doing it for money too. So I'm like, you know, I don't see anything wrong with this. A way for people, especially women, to be like financially self-sufficient. And yes, there are some aspects of stripping where, like, you know, women are trafficked into stripping sometimes, and you know, there are certain strip clubs where there aren't as many rules, but in general it's usually women who are making like the choice to do this so that they can have money, and they tend to make, you know, pretty good money, especially if you don't, because in this world, if you don't have a certain level of education, it's hard to get like your foot in the door in many professions. Even like fast food now, you have to have like a high school diploma to be hired. So it's like, you know, for a lot of people, it's like a thing that they're going to do for now until they can get on their feet. Yeah. Whatever. And then this person was like, oh, I'm so shocked that you have this opinion. Like, she was like so shocked that I had this opinion. I'm like, because why? Because she thinks like you'd be like, ew, stripper. Yeah, and I don't understand, especially given like the type of work that we do at my job, which is like, we do defense-based advocacy. We work with criminal defendants, essentially. So it's like, the work that we do is a little controversial, and some people would think of it as like ethically ambiguous. So why would we do the work we do every day and then have judgment against strippers? It just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, like, people are always like shocked when I say certain things, and it's just like, and then someone the other day called me like, oh, you're like really classy. And I'm like, what does that even mean? That's not, and it's not a pejorative. But it's not. It's not. But then in my mind, I'm like, is that how I come across? Like, really prim I like that word. And classy. Pejorative. Yeah, like, it's not an insult, and the person didn't mean it as an insult at all. They meant it as a compliment. But then I'm like, what? And that same person was like, okay, we were reviewing, like, you know, why I feel like I've been, like, single for so long. And they were like, oh, well, they're probably intimidated by you. I'm like, what?
That's
like,
always this.
That's always a
that
thing.
I hear. They're like, oh, they're probably just intimidated by you. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, is it because of? I think that it's partially, if they're intimidated, is it because of like either my facial expression or like the air that I'm giving off? I don't know, because I do have like, similar. Like feelings, or like people say certain things, like at my job, my boss, he's like, you're like very regal, and like, I'm like,
what does that mean?
I'm like, it's not an insult.
Yeah, it's like they mean it as a compliment, but like
I wasn't insulted by it, but I'm like, really?
Yeah,
like I don't consider myself regal in the slightest.
Oh,
but apparently some people do. Like I don't try to carry myself in a way that like is snobby or anything like that. But sometimes it might give that impression to someone, and I'm not trying to. Sometimes I'm just trying to like carry myself like, you know, like well, but also be aware, like, you know, I think so much about myself and everything, so I'm like not trying to like give off an impression like, oh, I don't care about these things. I'm gonna look like I don't care to a little bit of a point. Like I'm not obsessed about everything you do, but like I'm approachable is what I want to give off. Not like I'm so like I don't care, don't talk to me.
Right. And I feel like I'm very approachable, but I think it also has to do with like being put together, and like I feel like people perceive us as very put together, even though I don't feel like I'm as together as I could be, but other people perceive us as like really put together, and that gives off this like quote unquote classy or regalness. Yeah, and I also feel like a lot of it has to do with like being Black and how people perceive Black women in general. Yeah. And then if you don't fit that stereotype, like, oh my God, you must be you're so classy. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you're not like ghetto and loud, you so classy. Like,
yeah, like is it? Yeah, like also, yeah, is it because partially I'm like because I'm Black, like, you know, like not in an insulting way again, but just like, you know, like, oh, since I'm like a Black female that's like not so into like everything that's stereotypically you'd find in like an urban project ghetto setting, or like. That's just not my, like, thing. Like, my siblings make fun of me and joke about it. They say I'm, like, the snobby white one or something. And then, like, my mom, when I went to visit her, like, the other weekend ago, like, I saw the dog that they have for the first time, and I was just like, ew.
The doll?
A dog.
Oh, they have a dog?
Yeah, they got a dog. Like, her friend bought her.
What kind of dog is it?
It's like a dachshund or something, or like a mixture of that, and so it looks ugly to me. So I was telling her.
Let me Google dachshund.
It's like a black and brown dog, and it's small. And it's not a wiener dog. It's small though. But I was, like, telling her how I was like, this dog is ugly. I was like, it's too fat. Yeah, it looks like the black, it was, like, kind of like that, and it might be mixed with something else. Okay. Or it might just be strictly Dachshund.
Dachshund, okay.
But, yeah, it looks kind of like it's black and brown. It was, like, really fat, and it was, like, waddling, and I was like, ew, this dog is disgusting. It looks ugly. His head is too small for its body, and it's too fat. And then my mom was like, why do you have to say it like that? After her friend left, I don't know if he heard me. Who cares? Because he got the dog. But anyways, I was like, she's like, why'd you have to say it like that? Oh, it's too fat. And like acting like, she's like, oh, you're acting like you're a snob or something. I was like, no, I was just expressing my opinion on the dog. I thought it was ugly. She was like mocking me and saying it in a snobby way. She's like, oh, you're so snobby. I was like, no. I was just telling you what I thought.
You're not super into animals in general. Yeah. So it's like, that's just how you feel.
I'm not into animals, yes.
But yeah, and it's like, because we don't like talk the way people expect us to talk. It's like, oh, well, you must speak. You know, it's like, no, this is just how I speak and how I am, and
it's really
doesn't take any thought at all. But I don't know, I guess it's good that people perceive us in a positive light, but then it's also like you think about why they have those perceptions of us, and is it unconsciously coming from like a bad place, and I don't know, and does that affect like our dating life?
But then again, also yesterday, because guys, guess what? I upgraded to the iPhone. I've been an Android user
finally
for life. Originally, I always wanted an iPhone, but I
Mhm.
didn't get one because my parents didn't buy one for me.
Mhm.
And then I was like, you know what? I'll just stick with Android because this is what I know. But eventually, T-Mobile got iPhones, and I could get one. Anyways, long story short. I went to the T-Mobile store to look at phones to figure out what I was going to get. And when I was there, the guy at the counter, I was talking to the representative. He was like, oh, let me check your account. So I had to give him my number. And then he was like, can I have your ID? So I gave him my ID. And then after, he was like typing something in and he looked at it. And then he was like, oh, wow. He's like, I thought you were a lot younger than your age on this ID or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I get it a lot. He's like, yeah, your face looks like a baby face. And then I was like, okay, thanks, I guess. He's telling me this. And I'm like, that's another thing that people perceive me as either being really regal or as being like a child.
Being really young.
Like being like a young, mature child, which plays a part in the dating game again, I think, because like who wants to date a kid? Like who my age, male wise, want to date like a 16-year-old at a bar? Like,
well, they probably don't think you're 16. They probably think you're like
or 20.
You're a couple years older. I mean, younger than you are. Maybe like 22, 21 max. Like, you know. But I don't think they think you're 16.
Well, not 16. That's extreme.
Yeah, like early 20s.
But yeah, I feel like I don't know, I guess guys like younger women, but I feel like they think either like, oh, she looks young, or like, you know, not worth my time because she's young. I don't know. I feel like that plays a part.
Like, yeah.
Like, if I don't look like a woman, then then maybe they're not going to want to like bother putting any attention to me or notice me at all. Yeah. There's someone else that's looking more womanly there. But I'm not gonna like try and like pull out the girls and all that. I'm still gonna be me at wherever I'm going.
And you have to be you because you want someone that like likes you for you. Just I don't know. But I think some of it has to do with like how people perceive us individually, but then it also has to do with like the dating culture in general in our age group. Like my someone at work told me the other day, like because I was telling him about millennials because he's never heard that term before. He's a little bit younger.
How does he never heard millennials before?
I've never heard that before.
That's also shocking. Whenever I find out someone who's on TV that was born in like 2010, I'm like, whoa, like that makes me feel
not
old.
2010.
Yeah,
they're 5.
No, or like 2000. Yeah, 2010, like young kids in like shows, or like
that's so creepy.
Really late, early 2000s, like 2008 or whatever.
Yeah,
or just 2000. I'm like, what? You were born in 2000?
Exactly, and they're 15. Yeah, because my brother was born in 99 and he's 16.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
So it's like weird. That's a side note, but yeah, it's just weird to think about. It makes me feel somewhat old whenever I hear someone was born in the year 2000.
Definitely makes me feel old. But what was I saying? Yeah, like. Yeah, so I'm like reading him the Wikipedia page about like what makes millennials unique from like Generation X, and then he was like, you know, one thing that makes us different is definitely our dating culture. The way we date is like disgusting. And I'm like, yeah, because it is. Wait,
like is he a millennial or is
he is? Okay, he's like 3 years younger than us.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, because I feel like the way we date now is very like short term and quote unquote hookup culture is very big, and I think hookup culture was always a thing, but I feel like it's now more embedded in the dating culture. It's like you know, it's
more because it's more convenient now,
right?
With all the online dating apps, right? Because people are trolling for booty on those,
right?
And you can find it if you want it. Some girl might have just had a bad breakup. Instead of having to get out of your room and go to a bar and wait for that crying girl, you can just find her swiping online, right? She's depressed and wants to feel pretty, or whatever reason they may have, right? They might just want it, that's
right? Or they don't want a relationship, so they just want someone for the night. Which is cool too. But it's just like I feel like there's this like overwhelming idea that that's how we date now. Another thing that happens a lot is that I feel like people will kind of like string you along for a couple months.
Well, just to have someone in the pocket?
Yeah, without any like commitment of any sort. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, you know, and and then, like, neither of you ever talk about, like, what you're doing, what this is, and it's just kind of like...
Yeah, like, how long are you supposed to wait before you ask what you're doing?
Right.
Because I feel like you have a right to ask.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been out on, like, 4 dates already and you've been talking.
Yeah.
I feel like 4 dates is more than... Like, 4 dates meaning, like, in 4 weeks. Like, within 4 weeks.
Like, that's a long time.
If you're, like, dating, have been on dates, and you're just constant chattering for 4 weeks, I feel like you can ask... You should be able to feel comfortable enough to ask, like...
Right, like,
what is the... Yeah, are we dating each other exclusively, or are we just still casually dating? That's
a lesson I learned from the last thing I was doing. The fall thing, I'll call that. But, like, that to me was, like, me just experimenting and, like, following things to its natural end. Because now looking back on that, I'm like, that was nothing. That was, like, 2 friends hanging out. But I don't... But then I was like, oh, this is, like, interesting.
That's because in the heat of the moment, you don't know what it is. And then afterwards, you're like, oh, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, exactly. And then you start thinking, like, oh, what were they thinking? Like, was I always just a friend? But then why did we have such and such conversations that I thought meant this, but then didn't?
Or it could have. You don't even know. Especially if there's, like, other things that they're not sharing.
Right.
You wouldn't know. You won't have the full picture to make a really informed guess.
Right.
And that's still a guess. So it's not like it's the end-all right answer.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. So I think, like, moving forward, like, definitely, like, having conversations with people.
Yeah.
And knowing exactly where you stand is, like, something that I plan on doing.
Then what do you think of the answer? Like, say if you're on a first date and you're talking and you're, like, just chatting, you're, like, getting to know each other, and you might see chemistry. So you're like, oh, so, like, why? And because this is, like, something that happened to me on a date once. Like, we were talking, or, like, oh, it was through online, and then they're like, oh, so why are you using online dating or something? It's like, just wanted to check it out. My friends, or this is what he said, like, just wanted to check it out. My friends were, like, suggesting I try it, you know, and I'm, like, up for whatever, and wherever things go, they go. So, like, that's, like, a very, like, vague answer.
And that's what everyone says.
Yeah, and then everyone says it. But it's also, like, you can't, I feel like that answer, you can't really judge whether or not he's there just, like, saying that and, like, what his end game is. It's just to find, like, a partner to have sex with. Or is it just, like, that's what he generally feels. Like, just trying it out and see whatever happens.
Right. And that is true for a lot of people. They are just trying it out.
Yeah.
Just to, like,
see what happens.
Because they heard about it from other people. Yeah. I like that now it's become completely destigmatized. At least among our age group, there's no more stigma for the most part. There's still like some people. Usually it's people that have been like booed up for a long time. Yeah. And have never had to be in this like dating pool.
Yeah, they're like, what is that? I prefer to meet people in real life.
Yeah, that's because they haven't had to do that in a long time.
Haven't had to suffer.
Yeah, but now I feel like, just judging by, you know, friends that I have or people at work, like, everyone's doing it. Everyone's telling everyone about their experiences on like different websites, and everyone's like trading tips and tricks of online dating, and it just seems like that's how we date now, is online.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, even at my job right now, we're working with a dating app. And I don't guess I won't promote it because I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what I'm allowed to say. Yeah. But I mean, they're out already. They're a known app. And the thing about them, they have like this new feature, or you can like get instant dates. Like, say I want to go out today. I can go on the app and just say like, I want to go out today, and then they'll send you like a bunch of people that they would think would be good for you, and if there's like a mutual like between the people they send, then you guys get set up and you have to commit to going out.
Right. Okay.
But the problem with this is what they're noticing on their end is like a lot of the girls are very, very picky, which is the norm. Right. Guys aren't that picky. Right. Which is also another problem because like the whole, when they approach you, they're not being picky. Right, exactly. But on the site, they're like, yeah, the problem is girls are really picky. But the thing is, girls feel like they have a right to be more picky because it's more of a safety issue with
exactly
them. And commit to going out instantly. You know, it's fun in theory, and it's also like it can work, but it's just like you have to commit. Right. As a female, to meet this one person
who you know nothing about.
You just saw like their profile once and had no exchange.
Right.
So you're just like, it's like blind dating, basically.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it is. It's blind dating.
Yeah.
But at least in blind dates, you have less likeliness for danger because it's a recommendation of somebody that you know.
That you know personally. And you could like report back to them like, oh, that guy you set me up with, such and such and such.
Yeah. This is just like, you know, a recommendation through the algorithms.
Right.
But it's not like the algorithms can be wrong, but they can't always guess.
Right.
Like, chemistry is chemistry.
Because the algorithm is just based on what people put on their profile. It's not like necessarily the true them. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Because like to really know a person, you have to have like several conversations with them. You have to like know about like their life. You know? So it's like, I don't know.
I think it's weird, and I also think whenever I do get my boyfriend, my whole family will be like, "Whoa!" Like they'll be like, "Wow, I can't believe."
They'll be like shocked.
I think they not shocked, but they just maybe they would if it just came out of nowhere because like I don't tell them anything of my dating life.
Yeah, me either.
Like I'll be like, if anyone asks me a question directly, I was like, "Yeah, I date sometimes, not often." Yeah, and that's all you get. Yeah, and I don't know, I don't feel comfortable enough chatting about it because it's such an awkward topic and I'm not great at expressing things when dating comes into play.
And I'm just like a private person in general. Like, you're not going to get much out of me until you really know me. Yeah. And that's just me. I don't know, like.
Yeah, no. Everyone has the way they want to operate. Some people are like open book. Like, they just say everything and anything about their lives. Yeah. Other people don't, and it's all good. Yeah. Do what you want to do. But yeah.
But back to like girls being more picky than guys. I also feel like I don't say guys have lower standards, but it's like it goes back again to how you're raised as a girl. Like you're raised like, oh, you have to be really careful when you choose your partner because XYZ can happen. And there's like this underlying thing like, oh, make sure you get someone that like can take care of you or that you can be like equal. And it's just like you're taught like you always have to be like really, really discerning with who you choose to be with. So I think that also makes us like really like hyper vigilant when we're like dating, especially online. It's like, okay, well, he doesn't meet like all these specifications, so I shouldn't even bother. But like men, they get to be more free when it comes to like dating and sex and relationships.
Yeah, because they're not about relationships right away. At least that's the impression that I'm getting. I feel like girls are more, they're dating to find a boyfriend who can potentially become a husband. Or, so girls, I mean, that's girls in like, from the hetero sense. I don't know how girls who are of the other persuasion are seeking out, but I mean, it's each and every person has their own agenda. Some people want relationships, some people just want sex. It can be girls who just want sex. It can be guys who just want relationships. It's just hard to discern who's telling their truth and means it, and also like how many compatible people you can run into.
And I think everyone has like a list of things they want and don't want, but then you also have to like compromise because like people aren't like just algorithms. There's like a holistic like self that you have to like look at too. Yeah. So that's like what I'm trying to do in like this world.
Holistically view everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Because even myself, like I said, people think I'm put together, but I don't feel put together at all. I know that there's like flaws that I have that can be worked on, but I'm not going to work on them overnight. It's like a lifelong journey to work on my flaws. Journey. Yeah. Yeah. And then you want to find someone that can accept your flaws too. So
yeah. That's why I'm like, you have to be real and be yourself to a certain extent, like when you're, or not in general, because like if I want to go to a bar and I'm just there and my end game is to attract a male, I don't want to do it trying to pretend to be something I'm not. Right. Like I don't want to be like if I'm in the mood to wear a nice, fun, cute dress, that's me doing what I want to. Right. Exactly. I don't want to have to go to a bar and put on like some. heels, not that I need them, but put on some heels and like a really tight bodycon with cutouts everywhere.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like that's what's going to get me attention.
Right, exactly.
I want to wear what I wear because I like it and I'm in that mood.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not generalizing and saying every girl does this, but some people do. They dress up for the attention. Right. And I want to dress up because I like it.
Right. You like what you're wearing, you feel comfortable in it. And on the flip side, like, you don't have to be overly cash. Like, if you have an overly cash, man that you want, you don't have to, like, make yourself overly cash to, like...
Yeah, to fit in with him. Yeah. If he likes to wear sweats and you want to wear a bodycon dress.
Yes, I mean, hey.
Yeah, do it. Do that. It's better to be yourself because that's how relationships fail. Right. When you're, like, starting out with lies.
Right,
like,
exactly.
And it starts from how you dress up and act like you are a certain way when you really aren't. Because eventually you get tired of doing it and you revert back to your old habit, which is you. Exactly. And that's when things like, hey, I thought you were the girl who liked to go out every night and wear tight dresses. Yeah. Like, actually, no, I just did that to get your attention. Exactly. I like to stay at home and watch Netflix in my pajamas.
Exactly. That's the thing about rouges. You have to keep them going. You're going to get tired of that.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah, I don't want to, like, go into a relationship with a lie because I don't want to have a failed relationship. Yeah. And when I say relationship, I mainly mean marriage because like,
relationships can come and go.
Yeah, relationships things those don't always work out. You have different. You realize you're on a set. Like we said, we're still growing and evolving, and we're still young. So you might realize you are on two different tracks. Right. But it didn't seem that way initially, but now you are. So it might not work out, and that's sad. But, like, when you are committing.
Lifelong commitment, it's like, you don't want that to be, like, fuck up.
I would highly prefer not to.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the thought of marriage scares the shit out of me, like.
Well, I don't think about it like that. Yeah. I just think about the party.
I know! See, but that's me, too. Like, when I think of marriage, I think of, like, oh, a dress. Oh, a party. But I'm not even thinking about marriage. Yeah. Because to me, like...
Finances.
I know. Like, to me, like, I could just be in a long-term committed relationship and not feel like, oh, I have to be, like...
married.
This person's, like, wife. But then... it is like it's a financial contract. Like there comes, if you're with someone for like 10 years, like it may be good for you guys to just get married and get those tax breaks. And if someone gets sick, you could always visit them because you got that marriage certificate. Yeah. And when you have kids, that legal bonding is there. It just makes things easier from like a legal financial standpoint. From like a emotional standpoint, it's like
Yeah. It might not really do anything for you. It's just like cementing your emotions and making it, like you said, illegal. Yeah. So like different things are in place in case certain bad life things happen. Right, exactly. That's mainly what it's for. Right. Make sure your rights are in place as you guys shared a life together.
Yeah, you have someone to pass your assets.
Yeah, but the whole marriage thing is kind of weird when you think of it like that. Like, it's just, like, a legal thing that, like, make sure you're taken care of. Or, like, things are... You have your rights to this person that you're, like, sharing a life with. Exactly. It's kind of weird.
Because, like, I have a life insurance policy now that I'm a big girl. And my parents' names are on it. So, like, eventually, that's going to be someone else's name.
Eventually, My brother just got married. Oh. Yeah. And... He has, like, his life insurance policy, and he put me and my sister Ashley on it. Yeah. So, like, it was just us, and then my sister and I were talking about it, and it's like, so, is she getting on that? like,
oh my god!
It's like, so then my sister and I three-wayed him. We're like, Ashley, she's like, oh, so, how about that money? It's like, she's not on that, is she?
Well, she is, yeah.
He's like, you can split it 3 ways. She's like, no 3 ways. No. Only 2.
She's his... Oh, how do I do this?
Is this still recording?
I don't know. What happened last time?
What? I don't remember. I think it was either it started right after you were done or it paused it. I can't remember.
Well, now that I can edit,
I like to edit in an iMovie though because it's just quicker.
Really?
Because then I can turn it into a movie with our logo in it already.
But because she's his wife now, she's like automatically gonna supersede you guys.
Well, he said no. He said he's still leaving us on the thing, and that it's just gonna be us two and maybe her or something.
Well, I feel like she's automatically gonna have rights to it, but you guys could be on it too, because like both my parents are on it, so you could leave it to multiple people.
Yeah,
but
just because you're married doesn't mean you have to leave them money.
But I feel like legally, like if she got an attorney, like I feel like
it's like attorney. My brother expressed to both me and my sister that he wanted us to have it.
You could definitely like because your guy's name is on that paper, you have some rights to it. But because she's his wife, because he's
married to her.
Yeah, she can easily argue that she has rights to it, especially if they have a kid.
They don't have a kid.
No, if you don't know that, you don't know what can happen soon. But say they're married for 5 years, they have a kid.
Don't matter.
Automatically,
gonna be like, nope.
No. If they have a kid, right? He puts the kid on it, and something happens to him, God forbid, and the kid is still a minor, the mom automatically has rights to it until the kid is of age.
But just to the kid's portion. Not the whole thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but still. Yeah, anyway, my brother, he was like, so what are you trying to say? You want me to die? He's like, no,
but that's it. In your brother's situation, like this girl is like, she's not someone that he's been with a long time. You guys don't really know her. You don't know what her motives are. It could be good motives, but like because there's all this ambiguity, you don't know. Like,
I mean, for his sake, I hope it's good motive. She seemed simple enough that she wasn't trying to do that. But I don't know. Not in an insulting way.
She didn't seem like she was calculating.
Yeah.
She was plotting on him. Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah. And I think another reason why we're like so like wary of that situation because of what happened to our friend.
Yeah.
And it's a very similar situation. So I don't know. I feel like it must be a military thing. I think like people get very understandably afraid, maybe.
Yeah. They get swept away, and their mortality becomes more real to them because of it. But everyone's mortality is real day to day.
But maybe it's more potent because it's like, I'm in the military. That's kind of your job, is to be put in danger.
Plus, also, I have like a second cousin, and I went to his wedding like a couple weekends ago, too. And he got married, and to this girl, I don't forget how long they've been dating, but he was going off to the Navy. Oh. So they got married like maybe 3 days before he went off. Oh. I'm like, that is like a military thing.
Yeah. I mean
he's like 20, he's like 28 or something, but I think they dated for like maybe a year or two. So it wasn't like super rushed or anything. But I feel like it's like military people like to get married quick.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But the thing with the military is that once you're related to a military person, there's like benefits that come with that. So it just makes you think like, oh, like, are you just trying to get in on the bennies? Or
are you really in it for love?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but I wish him the best.
I'm assuming it's for love. I hope it's for love. I mean, I'm not a pessimist, so I'm not going to say it isn't. So we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, technically I have a sister-in-law.
Interesting. How that feels. Maybe soon you'll be an auntie.
I am an aunt to my sister in London.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you already know how that feels. No, but...
But he's like abroad.
Yeah. So you'll have like a niece or nephew that's like there.
We'll see. No, not there. I hope he better not have any kids soon. He's not mature enough for it.
He's not ready for that.
No. He's barely ready to have done what he did.
He better be careful because, he already has that issue now that he's betrothed. He may feel like, fuck it.
No, he better not. He wouldn't want a kid right away. But who knows? He is rash. You guys are crazy.
I want to see your dad's reaction.
You do not want to see his reaction.
I want to see your dad's reaction so bad.
You do not want to see it.
No, but you thought he was going to react badly when Ashley moved.
He didn't react as bad, but that's because he had to get a grip. I feel like he's not going to have the best. He has a really bad temper.
Okay. Well, all Jamaican dads do.
Yeah, that's what my grandma said. Like, Jamaican males have the worst.
Yeah, like, my dad in general is real chill. We'll go with the flow. But if you get him angry,
watch out.
It's like, yeah. And he has road rage. Like, if you cut him off or anything, he will follow the car up until the car, like, turns away. Like, he has to, like, follow the car and look at the person and, like, gesture at the person. Like, he can't just, like, let it go.
Oh.
Like
he's, like, hunting him down on his way.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, one time, we were, like, driving. You know where you have to, like, you drive past that little park thing, and you turn, like, to go down our street. So, like, someone cut him off somewhere, and he's, like, speeding, like, almost, like, not stopping at the stop sign, so speed up so you can look to see who that was until that person turned into, like, their driveway. And I was like, what are you doing?
Like, you're not gonna achieve anything.
Yeah, but it's like he has to see their face.
I'm gonna give him that eye.
Give him
evil
that
eye.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I don't think my dad he doesn't have road rage. He just has, like, anger issues. It's like, why haven't you called me? I'm like, you can call me.
You can call me.
It works both. I hate when people call me, like, why haven't you called me? Like, unless I promised to call you.
Yeah, like, I'm living life.
Like, you could, it works, but I'll answer the phone. I don't really screen my calls. I answer them. So
exactly.
Unless I'm at work or something.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I think he'll try and be calm about it. Okay. Because he knows my brother and him have a weird relationship. Okay. So I think he'll try and be calm about it.
Maybe you may think your brother's a man now. He's in the military.
I don't know. He complains about him sometimes. Like, what's Andrew thinking? Blah, blah, blah. All this stuff, I guess parent problems.
Yeah, I would be thinking the same thing too, but I would have to know the girl. That would be my thing.
Everyone met her when she came up for Christmas, or was it Christmas? No, it was like the summer.
Yeah,
she came up during last summer.
Okay,
so we all met her.
You don't like know her.
I don't know her. Like, I'm friends with her on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, she goes to church.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
see. I wish him the best.
But yeah, she seemed fine. She seemed nice enough.
Okay.
Yeah. It's life,
Yeah, life.
Meeting the one you love.
Yeah, I like your background on your Mac.
That's just a standard background
really?
I came with. It's a mountain.
It's cute. Okay. So I think this is a good spot to end this week's podcast. Yeah. I like this new format. I'm feeling this.
It seems
a lot.
Cool. Yeah, let us know what you think. Go back and listen to last week's episode
too. And it should be up. Yeah. It's definitely up by now, actually.
And then listen to this one and say in the comments what you liked best, episode 46 or episode 47.
And look on our blog for our
some content.
Yeah.
More content.
Hopefully
consistent content.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening and subscribe. Bye, guys.
Bye.